This is CBC Here and Now.
It's crazy. You can't go away and leave your doors unlocked anymore.
Shoplifting, break-ins, and home invasions.
People in Gander want increased policing.
I think it's actually an insult to what we've built over the years. We're the ones that builds the community, contributes to the community, but yet when there's an opportunity, guess what happens?
A big makeover for this co-op in Happy Valley Goose Bay.
But that has some local contractors upset.
That's all right. If I need it, I can get it after supper.
Okay.
And in 30 minutes, we'll premiere our Second Look series with a replay of our award-winning documentary that takes us inside the Wiseman Center.
A St. John's shelter that offers a beacon of hope to those who are struggling.
Good evening, I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes, and we'll start with a fire that's forced people out of the community of Greats Cove. An explosion at a cabin in nearby Daniels Cove caused a fire in the woods and resulted in a lot of black smoke. Winds are blowing smoke and flames towards the town. Forestry officials have dispatched 2 water bombers and described the fire as moderate to fast spreading.
Officials say, according to the latest update, the fire is 1 kilometer by a half kilometer in size. CBC News is following the developments and we'll be updating our website as we get details.
To Saskatchewan now, our CMP have laid criminal charges against the driver of the truck involved in the deadly Humboldt Broncos bus crash.
Today, at approximately 10 a.m., our major crime investigators arrested the driver of the semi-trailer unit, Jaskarit Sidhu, a 29-year-old male from Calgary, Alberta. Mr. Sidhu was arrested without incident at his Calgary residence.
Sidhu faces 16 counts of dangerous operation of a motor vehicle causing death and 13 counts of dangerous operation of a motor vehicle causing bodily injury. The charges were laid following a reconstruction of the collision and analysis of interviews, photographs, and information from driver logbooks. Investigators met with families of the victims this morning to inform them of the arrest. Sidhu will make his first court appearance in Saskatchewan next week.
Gander's town councillors are asking for a bigger police presence in their community. The town council has decided to write the province's Justice Department, looking for a response to thefts in Gander. Here now's Garrett Barry is live tonight. So Garrett, what's prompted this?
Well, theft is one of the top concerns here in the town of Gander. Police here are saying that there's been a significant surge in shoplifting. But if you ask the people out around town, they'll tell you that cars are now amongst the top targets.
Just the glove box in this car.
Last Friday, this car was a mess.
Everything was in the glove box on the floor.
While the owner slept, thieves rifled through 3 unlocked cars. This is what it looked like when she woke up. Not much was taken.
It's just the fact of that there was people out here who shouldn't have been on our property, rummaging through our things.
She's not alone. Up and down the street, people have similar stories. It's not just cars. Last month, here on Memorial Drive, 4 handguns were snatched during a break and enter. Thieves later used one of those in a home invasion in Summerford. People are fed up.
I think there should be more patrols done around neighborhoods, or something has to be done.
It's not a huge crime wave or anything, but it's an issue of public safety and concern that we as a municipality need to make every effort to address.
Town Council is planning to write the provincial government. It wants more police and 24/7 patrols. The Justice Department told CBC it doesn't tell police where to send its officers, but
it's probably not quite true that politicians can't do anything. I mean, ultimately, the buck stops there. We're not suggesting that the province should direct the RCMP to place more officers in the town of Gander, but we're certainly suggesting that in order to resolve a situation in the town of Gander, they make more resources available so that the RCMP can, use their own judgment as to where best to deploy those resources.
The mayor says a town this size deserves around-the-clock coverage.
I don't think what we're asking for is too much.
Asked the RCMP what they had to say. The force tells us it has actually just hired a new member in the Gander detachment, and it is open to more changes if it sees the need and has the money. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Garrett Barry in Gander.
4 newspapers in central Newfoundland are shutting down. The Saltwire Network says the Advertiser, the Pilot, the Nor'Wester, and the Beacon will close by the end of July. In their place, there will be a new paper called the Central Voice. Starting on August 1st, it will be delivered to 32,000 homes in central Newfoundland. 5 people will lose their jobs as a result of the consolidation. So Carolyn, our newscast is a little different tonight with our first Friday Second Look series airing in our last half hour, and that means we'll have your birthdays and anniversaries in about 15 minutes instead of at the end of the program.
So you'll tell your friends and family the greetings are earlier tonight than usual. So yeah, in about 15 minutes or so. And looking forward to that documentary too.
Me too. And Carolyn, you're doing double duty tonight with our weather forecast. It was a nice day, lots of winds, probably not helping the situation where the fire is out near Greats Cove.
No, definitely not, but at least there are showers that are moving across the island tonight, so hopefully, even if the winds stay a bit strong, that some of that wet weather will help with that fire. Let's have a look at how the forecast is shaping up. I thought I would stick with the trend that Colette has been doing lately, actually, showing us some of the temperature records that have been broken. There was only one yesterday, but I thought I would highlight it. Burgeo broke a record for a high temperature yesterday, 22 degrees. The former record was in 1939 at 21.1 degrees. So, highs today, not too bad. Pretty warm temperatures, as you can see on the island, got up to 25 in St. John's, 27 in Badger, a little bit cooler along the coast there in Labrador. Things are going to cool down tomorrow a little bit for the island and quite a lot for Labrador. But these are the showers that I was just mentioning that are moving across the island, bringing some thunder showers actually to the west coast. So as far as Marystown area along the south coast, there's a possibility that you could see some thunder showers tonight. So this will really affect the east later on this evening, 3 a.m. If you're heading downtown tonight, you'll probably want a jacket because some showers will be on the Avalon by then. But things are going to start to clear off nicely in the morning, Saturday, 10 a.m. You can see most of the island is clear. Still some cloud cover there and some showers in the east, and lots of scattered showers persisting throughout the day for most of Labrador. Here's a quick snapshot of your temperatures. On the island tomorrow, temperatures staying below 20 pretty much everywhere. 16 degrees in Corner Brook there, but you can see that on Sunday temperatures do bump up again to the low to mid 20s, so that's good. And Labrador, things really cooling down tomorrow. 15 degrees in the west, 13 in the east, but you can see quite the change happening here between Saturday and Sunday. I'll get into more of those details a little bit later. Debbie?
Thanks, Carolyn. The Tarrington Co-op in Happy Valley Goose Bay is about to get a big makeover, but there is controversy about who's doing the work. The renovations will cost millions, and they'll be done by a Quebec company. Here Now's Jacob Barker has that story.
Well, there is a lot of work planned to happen inside this store. The cash registers are moving, they're putting in new flooring, new shelves, and they're working on the refrigeration system. But local contractors say they didn't hear anything about the work. They just started getting calls.
The first time I was aware of it was when a contractor from Quebec City called looking to see what services I could provide to his company.
Now, Ryan says his company is too small to take on the whole job, but there are other contractors in town who believe they could take on the work. Ryan says this situation is unique because the Tarrington Co-op is owned by its membership, and many of the contractors in town are members.
If this is the way the board is going to run our business, is this the beginning of the end? Are we now in a transition where members will no longer own this business? Will it become part of the larger corporate business of Sobeys?
Though Co-op is its own entity, it does work with Sobeys as its wholesaler, and the president says they are relying on a contractor they secured through Sobeys to get the work done.
In my 35 years of experience or 30 years experience in town with various other organizations, I don't believe that we could achieve our goals of having our project done efficiently in terms of experience and total cost and things like that with a local contractor.
I think it's actually an insult to what we've built over the years. We've worked hard, we've invested, we're community oriented, we're the ones that builds the community, contributes to the community, but yet when there's an opportunity, guess what happens? somebody else comes in.
George Andrews says that work on the store is set to begin in September and that locals could see a role in that as subcontractors, but those I spoke with say that the board should have put the work out to tender to give a local company a chance at heading up the project. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
There are bear warnings across the province. On the Avalon Peninsula, a black bear has been spotted multiple times on the East Coast Trail system. The last known sighting was on Tuesday on the Mutter Wet Path near Aquafort. And in Cove, a polar bear was recently tranquilized and moved north. Authorities are asking people in coastal Labrador to be vigilant as polar bears are returning north at this time of year and may come ashore depending on ice flows.
We told you last night about how a softball tournament in the St. John's area said no to a team that included 2 girls. But on the baseball front, a new all-girl minor baseball league is making history. Here now, Stephen Miller has our story.
The sun is out and so are the Tigers. This game against the Rangers is the second of the season for the new all-female minor baseball league in the St. John's area, naturally named a league of their own.
Baseball Canada's put a real focus on girls baseball. So the last couple of years you'll see the numbers have grown tremendously in girls baseball. So this year we have over 120 girls registered just in St. John's minor alone, and I would say we're pushing probably 400 or 500 across the province right now from all the associations.
The next time someone tells you you throw like a girl, take it as a compliment. While some people may be new to the sport, Meredith Jones of the Rangers is a seasoned veteran at only 13.
Like 10 years.
Has it always been like your favorite sport, or do you play a lot of different sports?
I play a lot of different sports, but it's one of my top favorite.
The spirit of competition is alive and well among the 4 teams in the league. Friendship between these girls and the encouraging environment created by the coaches is undeniable. Having fun is the priority here.
My dad plays baseball, and he's been playing for a while now, a long time. He's been playing since he was my age. And I just thought I'd give it a try and really see if I liked it. So I like it. It's really fun.
Among the biggest fans, the parents, even if it means rooting for someone other than the Red Sox.
A Red Sox fan, that's often hard for me to do, but to come out and see all of these girls playing, most of whom I've coached over the years at a couple of levels, it's just great to see them participate. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Tigers to take the win tonight.
And Ed Flynn got his wish. After a hard-fought battle, the Tigers won 3-1. If you're interested in seeing the action firsthand, the league schedule is available online. Stephen Miller, CBC News, St. John's.
Time now to meet our two athletes of the day. First, this is Gavin Sheehan from Paradise.
He's playing his first year of hockey in the Paradise House League and is doing great at it. Congratulations, Gavin.
And now, let's meet 9-year-old Matthew Woodford, who plays hockey in Grand Falls, Windsor.
Yes, he loves to curl, too. He just finished his second year of Timbits Junior Curling at Exploits Regional Curling Club. So congratulations to you, Matthew.
Update is brought to you by Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 570 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can, too.
Getting right to the weather forecast, and here's a look at how things are in the province over the past few hours. You can see the showers that have been affecting the west coast. This is all moving east overnight tonight, so things in the west should be easing off fairly soon, but they have seen some thunder showers earlier today and a chance of some thunder showers as well along the south coast overnight tonight. So as you can see, these showers will be moving east, hitting the Avalon a little bit later on tonight, but the clearing will be happening in the west overnight, so that will give you a nice start to your Saturday. So here you can see right across the board, chance of showers for the entire island and for Labrador tonight. Cool temperatures, 12 along the south coast there as the low, 3 is the low in Nain, and those winds are staying pretty strong, gusts up to 60 in the east. So that's going to continue into tomorrow as well. So if you're heading out on the water for the food fishery, you'll want to check that out because it is going to be a blustery day. So looking ahead to tomorrow, things clear off nicely on the island. Just some clouds to start in the east, but that will clear off throughout the day. Lots of showers persisting in Labrador and cool temperatures as well. You can see the temperatures are quite cool on the island tomorrow, below 20 for most areas. Those showers you see there, that's for the morning. Things will clear off, so it will be quite a nice day otherwise. In Labrador, we're looking at very cool temperatures along the coast, 13 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay with some showers, but that will change as you get into Saturday, so something to look forward to for sure. Overnight Saturday into Sunday, there's a chance of a scattered shower there and some showers moving into the west coast of Labrador. But look at the change in temperatures, 28 degrees in the east tomorrow, so much better. A mix of sun and cloud. Chance of showers there in the west, and the island just looking beautiful for Sunday, but still the winds are going to stay fairly strong. As we get into Sunday into a Monday afternoon, there's a chance of showers for most of Labrador, but things staying pretty nice on the island. We're getting into a nice warming trend where temperatures are looking above 20 for the foreseeable future. You can see this is for St. John's and Easter 5-day forecast. We're getting into a mix of sun and cloud that's going to continue right on until Wednesday, 21 degrees there. So some nice warm temperatures as well for Central, a nice clearing trend as well. Those nice summery temperatures, love that. A chance of showers there as we hit Wednesday. Sunshine right across the board for western Newfoundland. And as we head up into Labrador, there is more of a chance of showers there for the east, but temperatures still staying above 20 there. And for western Labrador, a little bit cooler, not quite as nice as other areas, but still not too bad. As you get to Wednesday, you'll be looking at 22 degrees. And that's your forecast.
And coming up right after the break, let's find out who these fine folks are celebrating this week. Birthdays and anniversaries coming right up. Welcome back, everyone, and it's time now to find out who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Happy 56th anniversary to Mike and Madeline Thompson, who celebrated on June 30th. Happy 92nd birthday tomorrow to Neil Legg, now living in Clarenville. It was a happy 61st anniversary yesterday for Lorne and Verna Moss of Eastport. Happy 51st anniversary to Frank and Daphne Perry of Phillips Head, whose special day is tomorrow. Happy 50th anniversary wishes to Ron and Sadie Kenny of Fairyland.
Congratulations to Martha and Gordon Randall on their 59th anniversary on July 1st. Alonzo and Lucy Stride of Lewisport are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary today. Congratulations to you. Happy birthday to Violet Goodwin of Old Perlican, who celebrated her 92nd birthday on July 2nd. It's a golden anniversary for Rex and Mavis Fudge from Brighton. Congratulations to Bessie and Gordon Bartlett of Kippens, who celebrated their 64th wedding anniversary on July 2nd.
Happy 91st birthday to Vera Cashin of Harbor Grace, now living in Carbonear, on her 91st birthday yesterday. Wishing a happy 91st birthday to Eileen Wells in Gander. She's originally from Glovertown. Happy 93rd birthday to Mildred Canning of Comfort Cove, Newstead, who's now living in Lewisport. Happy 67th anniversary to Randall and Muriel Moulton of Winterland. They celebrated on Wednesday. Happy 59th wedding anniversary to Percy and Sarah Collins of Hare Bay.
Happy 50th anniversary wishes are extended to Mervyn and Ruth Stacy of Stephenville, who celebrated on the 3rd. And it's a golden anniversary as well for Lloyd and Shirley Banfield of Bay Largent, whose special day was Wednesday. Harold and Elizabeth Late of St. John's are celebrating their golden wedding anniversary today. Congratulations. Best wishes to Gwen and Paul Hollett of Epworth on their 56th anniversary on the 3rd. Happy anniversary to Reverend Lockley and Phyllis Byander from Fortune, now living in St. John's, who will be celebrating their 65th anniversary on July 9th.
Congratulations to Harold and Margaret Johnston of Gould's, who will be celebrating their 63rd wedding anniversary on the 9th. Another couple celebrating on the 9th. Happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Thelma and Edward Murphy of Kippens. Happy 50th anniversary to Wesley and Gladys Morris in Portugal Cove, St. Philip's, who celebrated on Wednesday. Happy 57th wedding anniversary to Jack and Caroline Edgecombe, celebrating their 57th wedding anniversary today. Happy 92nd birthday greetings to Gladys Stockley of St. John's. Her birthday was yesterday.
Happy 95th birthday to Mary Rogers, who celebrated on the 5th. Best wishes to Hector Parsons of Whitburn, who is turning 93 years old tomorrow. And here's one to celebrate. Happy 102nd birthday to Effie Petton, formerly of Port de Grave, now in Carbonear, who celebrates her birthday coming up on Sunday. And a happy 55th wedding anniversary to Max and Ethel Hollett of Grand Bank, celebrating this coming Monday. Anniversary greetings to Absalom and Joyce Baker of Bay Largent, who will celebrate their 65th wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Happy 55th wedding anniversary to Nellie and Bill Jennings of Foxtrap. Happy 51st anniversary to Phyllis and Henry Sutton of Victoria. And our second centenarian this week, a big happy birthday to Louise Cluett of Garnish, who will be turning 102 on Sunday. And congratulations to Cecil and Frances Barnes of Barrie, Ontario, who will celebrate their 68th wedding anniversary tomorrow. And congratulations once again. Well, as part of our Summer Look Back series tonight, we are re-airing CBC NL's documentary Persons First inside the Wiseman Center.
Yeah, and it recently got some international accolades, receiving an honorable mention at this year's Gabriel Awards, and the certificate actually just arrived in the mail yesterday.
Very exciting. So congratulations to the CBC NL team who worked on the documentary. They are Megan McCabe, Jen White, Paul Pickett, Sherry Vivian, Bruce Tilley, and Peter Gullidge. So that's coming up right after the break, but we're going to sign off, and we will see you on Monday.
Good night.
Tucked away behind tall trees on the edge of downtown St. John's, there's a place many of you have the luxury of not knowing. This big red house is a refuge for some of the most vulnerable people in our province.
For $650, the POU, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Well, how much did they give you, like $850?
$850, right? We left for $200, and it's POU.
It's an emergency shelter when you need a place to crash, and a home if you're unable to live on your own. Andrew Brazel was injured a couple years ago, so he couldn't work. He's staying on the second floor temporary shelter, getting help finding a place he can afford. People like Brazel and his buddy Adam usually stay for a month or two until the right apartment comes along. Everyone here has a story. Stories of serious mental illness, drug and alcohol addictions, living on the streets, and being in and out of jail.
I was in prison for attempted murders and bank robbery.
I have lived in apartments that should not have been rented to me because a human being didn't deserve to be put in such a place.
Stories of recovering from addiction, only to end up right back where they started.
I was hooked on Oxycontin for pain medication for 10 years. I relapsed and went downtown, got on Paul drugs, and lost a year and a half pretty much. So.
Their stories are tough. There's a lot of ways to end up homeless, a lot of heavy things that can happen in life. Some so heavy they don't want to talk about it, just want to be. Because here, they can. They're safe.
Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Good to see you.
That sense of safety comes from this man, Major Lloyd George. He's been running the Salvation Army Wiseman Center since it opened 10 years ago, helping about 1,600 people along the way. Major George tells stories of hope.
We had an individual there a few years back. He's with us a couple of times. I remember one Christmas receiving a card from this individual. And in the card it said, "Last year I was with you, I spent Christmas with you, and I thank you for that." But he said, "Last year I had no family, no job, no hope." He said, "This year I'm with my family, I have an opportunity for 2 jobs, and my future looks brighter." And so, you know, letters like that really mean a lot to us.
But this is a good stepping stone too. Right?
Oh yeah, true, true. We always believe this. People's lives can change, you know. We believe that God loves everyone as they are, but He's not willing to leave them there. He wants them to change for the better, and that's our mission here, to help them to reintegrate into society.
Ken, did you get? Please be nice.
For some, the Wiseman Center is a safe haven on the way back into the everyday world most of us take for granted. For others, this place is home. Johnny Folsom has lived here for over a year. He's up on the 3rd floor in a bachelor apartment, what's called a supportive housing unit, which means they're not totally on their own. They have help staying clean, getting to appointments, and know someone is always there if they need it.
If I can just get around and belong. For all my life, I never belonged out here. Most doors are closed. You know, the society is very unforgiving to criminals. I'd like to make this point clear to somebody that's thinking about getting into crime and stuff and everything. If you think that it's going to be 2 years, if the judge says it's 2 years in prison, that's all there is to it, is just the 2 years, you're going to be sadly mistaken, because it never gets over. It never gets over. Not until the day I die, then my record is clear.
What was that like being in there?
For me, it was just a sense that I'll never get off this merry-go-round, because that's what the prison system is like. Halfway houses, streets, prison, back to the halfway houses, little one-room apartments, streets. It was just the fact that, oh man, I'll never get off this merry-go-round. I'll never get off this merry-go-round. But I'm off the merry-go-round now, you know? It's great. You look at me like I'm a single man here living in a bachelor apartment and everything. You think you must be really lonely, and you must be really bored, and you must be really this, and there's not much to it. Like there's not much to it, which is there's probably not much to it. But I mean, this is right where I want to be, and it's a hell of a lot better than where I have been.
When he was coming out of the halfway house, hopefully for the last time, Folsom was worried about falling back into that merry-go-round.
If I relapse back into booze or drugs at all, I'm right back into a federal penitentiary for probably 4 or 5 years just for using at all. I got to be monastic. You know, I got to be monastic. That's the way the system wants me. Because, you know, I did some crazy things. The system can't afford me to be doing more crazy things. You know, anytime it looks like there's a threat that I'll be doing more crazy shit, they put the clamps on me.
With roughly $850 a month income from the government and his criminal record, Folsom figured he could only get another cheap, no-questions-asked room in a shared house known as a bedsitter, until he found the Wiseman Center.
It's impossible for somebody to come out of prison and to go into a halfway house and then be put into a bed-sitting room and make it. I consider myself very lucky today to be here today in a pretty secure environment for me to be able to write and play my music, and to be left alone when I want to be left alone, and to socialize when I want to socialize. It's the day before payday, so everybody's out, everybody's bumming, everybody crazy.
Folsom looks at these guys and sees himself.
I'll say the transient people coming and, you know, just staying for a month or two and going again. Like, I mean, you know, it's booze and drugs. It's not a good scene for being unstable, right? You know, if you want to be stable, you know, you stay away from that stuff. You know, it'll take a lot of people down, and it took me down. I bought that for $60 in Halifax when I got out of prison from Dorchester. I went to Halifax halfway out and I had money. And then I reoffended and I was in prison for another 4 years after that.
That blanket sat there waiting for him while he did his time.
I worked for a good bit of the time. For a good bit of the time I didn't work either. I was on the streets of Halifax for 8 years, and you know, that's you know, it's just a daily grind of getting up and wondering where you could scam or steal or enough to get you screwed up. Yeah. And that's the way I lived. Sometimes you feel good, and then it bites you in the ass, and a lot of times you don't feel good. You know, you're looking for that good feeling again, just like a dog chasing after its own tail and everything, right? I don't know. I'm glad I'm at where I'm at, put it that way.
Growing up in Ramia, Folsom says he never had dreams for his life or a sense of responsibility the way his buddies did.
In a small town, Newfoundland, that I grew up in, everybody partied. You never took time to get to know yourself, what you wanted. It was just all after supper, out the door, meet up with a few buddies, smoke a joint, have a few beers, have a laugh. And it starts out that way, like having a laugh and with my buddies and stuff like that. As far as dreaming, I don't know, I just never did. I never had anything that I wanted to be.
He's 53 now, and he still doesn't really know why he did the things he did or why his life went one way while his buddies went another.
I've been told I've been manic depressive. So if they tell me I am, I guess I am. I've been taking pills for it now for just about 20 years. A spatial resonance.
Now Folsom turns to other things to feel good, like writing, playing music, swimming. He started writing poetry in jail.
When I write a song or when I write a poem now, it's a holier kind of high. You know, it's more God-induced.
This poem's called Strip Bar.
Watch out for strangers with long eyelashes. Make friends with bushy eyebrows. They'll tell you seafaring stories and fart innocently once in a while. And when you're all out of aces or you're shit out of luck, they'll mix your Fruit Loops with beer and talk about bow-legged women, hoping you'll find one to save his Fruit Loops and beer for himself. If he offers to trim his eyebrows and wear shirts open to the chest, revealing sparsely gray chest hairs, turn him down, because then you can't trust him. Better then to befriend a stranger who will trim his eyelashes and put Rogaine on his eyebrows and get cornflakes with non-alcoholic beer.
Folsom is very open about the bleak times in his life, but there were good times too.
Don't get me wrong, I've also had years where I paid off a trailer and 5 vehicles, and I had a woman, and I did really well. You know, I did really well, but it all went to hell because of the booze and drugs. No, I don't look at my life and my time in prison as a big loss. That's not the big loss. The loss is I lost my trailer, I lost my woman, I lost my life. I did life. It cost me my life. And you know, that's what crime got me, right?
If you could go back to 12-year-old Johnny in Ramia, is there anything you would say?
Probably what I would say would be that you're going to miss out on so much. You think you're going to miss out if you don't do what you're doing now, but you're going to miss out on so much, which is what I did, right? All the simple things about this, you know, living a simple life with a woman and a job and stuff like that. Like, that's the things that are real. Running with your head in the wind, like, I mean, you think that's where it belongs, type of thing. But, you know, if you could just see what you could have and instead of what you're going to lose, because everything you get, you're going to lose it. And that's what happened to me. Everything I had, I lost it.
I
think your bus pass is
That's all right. If I need it, I can get it after supper.
Jody White is from Salmon Cove. He's on the temporary floor, hoping the staff's help finding housing and the Narcotics Anonymous meetings upstairs will straighten him out.
What you need when you're an addict or you're down like that, you need support, right? And that's hard to get. But here is now.
Do you have family?
Oh yeah, I got 2 brothers and a mother and a father, and 2 daughters. But they don't like my lifestyle because I was a drug addict, eh? So you can't blame them, right? They're still taxing me and stuff, like, we're still a family, but sometimes you don't like the choices you make. But that's it. That's all you can do with that.
They seem like they've known each other for ages, but they just know what it's like to go through some tough stuff.
I know Shane and there's Shane Bruce and Joy.
How'd you know him?
From jail. I was only in there 90 days. 2 years ago. Caught with weed. Well, jail's not for me. So, learn your lesson, right? Hope some people do, anyways.
After a gunman opened fire at a congressional base.
It took Aaron Walters a long time to learn his lesson, but he did.
How you doing, Aaron?
Pretty good.
See you, buddy. What you reading now?
Madness and Civilization.
Madness and Civilization,
It's about the mentally ill and how society is treating them all as individuals.
Okay.
But I can say from personal experience that things have improved just in my little short lifetime.
We see quite a difference in you from the time you came to even now.
Well, just before I moved in here, I was so slowly slipping away. Slowly slipping away. But I got this, and like it was a new atmosphere, a new spirit.
Walters is 55, and he's been living here on the 3rd floor supportive housing unit for 9 years.
When I was a boy, I suffered some head trauma, and I couldn't outgrow it. I got high school, but after that, I couldn't maintain a routine of school or work. So I'm living on assistance, not having a decent place to live or enough money to live on, caused me getting in trouble with the government. And this was the case with me for about 14 years. Along the way, I was diagnosed as schizophrenic.
He still doesn't know what happened to him when he was a kid.
My parents have touched on it, said this or that about it, but they've never really sat down and told me exactly what happened.
Walters left home in Rocky Harbor at 17, got messed up with alcohol, eventually vandalized some property, and found himself in front of a judge. The police brought him to the Waterford Mental Health Hospital.
I exploded in court, and I said, okay, let's go to the Waterford. That was the determining factor, the beginning determining factor. It's not easy to give up independence, I was only a young man in my 20s, and I didn't want to be obligated to be taking medication or to admit the fact that I'm mentally ill. It's a very difficult thing to comply with.
Like Folsom, he lived in cheap rooms and bedsitters, sharing a bathroom, kitchen, living room, sharing addictions, anger, mental illness.
I've seen people that lived in bedsitters and all they got there is a bed. Some guys only got a mattress. It's a breeding ground for crime, abuse of drugs and alcohol. It's like a constant watch in the bedsitter. Like if some guy wanted to smoke drugs or drink alcohol or have casual sex or play loud music, I didn't fit in real well there. But right here, I could get my own time. I could do what I want when I want to do it, which is great.
Surrounded by books, just like when he was a kid. A love of reading passed down from his grandmother to his father to him.
Books are always there, and I just always had a natural aptitude to go and pick one up and read. And I've got a strong desire to know who I am.
Experts will tell you there's a strong connection between trauma, mental illness, addictions, poverty, and crime. People here will tell you they live it.
What percentage of people who get in trouble with the law are living in poverty, living in bedsitters like that? We are not poor by choice. We've got whatever problem, we've got whatever trauma that so it is. And so, give us a decent place to live, enough money to live on, then come sit down and engage us. We'll talk to you. We'll find the words to heal up these problems.
Great, sir. What do we have for dinner today?
Run by the Salvation Army with funding from the provincial government and private donations, Major Lloyd George says the Wiseman Centre follows a simple philosophy.
It's unfortunate that we live in a society that people carry labels. Some are labeled alcoholics, drug addicts, prostitutes. From our perspective, they're persons first. And if you treat someone as a person first, they respond quite differently. I've said to our residents when we're speaking with them, society places people on different rungs of the societal ladder. But I believe God doesn't have a ladder. We're all on the same rung in the sight of God. If we look at people that way, we see them in a different light and we treat them as human beings, not as a label to carry.
He's seen things change here over the last decade.
In the early days, we had people who were working, who had some issues in families or issues with some mild addictions, and they needed a place to stay while they're working through those issues in their lives. But that has changed over the course of time because the Waterford was sending more people out into the community. It wasn't really working in some instances in the community, so they found a way here.
It's a different type of homelessness that would beset them if they weren't able to be here. And too many of these people now, sadly, end up in HMP. They end up on the street. Because when we deinstitutionalized, we didn't provide all the necessary supports.
Art Callahan is the dedicated support worker for Walters, Folsom, and the other people living here in the third floor supportive housing spots, taking them to see their psychiatrists, helping them get groceries, deal with problems, that kind of thing.
It's not a high degree of support, but it's a very important degree of support. It's like a family. We have all types of families, but I think we have our Wiseman Centre third floor family as well, right?
Here, everyone finds something they couldn't: respect.
Janelle, can you tell her to call the women's wing, please, Janelle?
You'll always be called by name here. It's how staff show that you matter.
This is what it is, no? Yeah. Could be worse. We'll be next week when you get down the street. Homelessness is bad, period, right? But it's good to have a place like this. I've been all over Canada, and this is the best place ever. It really is. Ontario is really bad. Like, if you go to the shelter, you're putting a gymnasium with about 300 people, and you could wake up with knives in your back, your stuff gone. It's horrific. And they keep you in the daytime too, right? They don't keep you around or nothing. Like here, they keep you around. It's really relaxed. The staff are excellent.
Craig Strickland is from Lameling. After decades of moving around, he's hoping his next move is his last.
They had programs for people that's suffering from narcotics or opiate addictions or whatever upstairs 3 times a week. And then if you got no IDs and stuff, they send you down New Hope and they help you get your ID, get you straight away, apartment, give you furniture, clothes, a better deal on.
One of the boys is moving out today, so maybe give it to him.
The Wiseman Centre is one of 6 shelters in the city, and it's home to 30 people at any given time. The shelters are all there to help people clean up their lives. Lana Reed and Carolyn Reed, who aren't related, help with that cleaning. They'll set you up with counseling today and a place to live tomorrow.
Curia mentioned there was a place that, and they developed me to it. Yeah. And I looked at it, but the rent was like $800. Pay you until it's too much. Yeah.
I'll do the same.
I'll take somewhere
else. They'll find you somewhere.
When you look at the rents, of course, it's kind of recommended that people should not pay much more than 30%, 25 to 30% on the rent. Most of our clients are spending more than that.
I usually try to find something around the $600 range. $600, possibly pay on utilities. Well, I sort of think if it's a place that I would consider living, then it would be suitable for the client. There was a time at the center when people were moving really fast. Now we have a tendency to have clients for a little longer, but it's because it's harder to find affordable, suitable housing. There are landlords that I have worked with that have actually dropped the price of rent, knowing that a client goes into a place, that we get it furnished for them, that it's a safe, secure place. That, for me, that's great. It's like Christmas.
To hear that someone says, I was really nervous about coming, I didn't know anything about it, and I wondered, would I be judged, and then to hear that they felt welcomed, that they felt accepted here, and that they felt that, oh, I got someone that's going to help me get pieces together. I sat down with a guy the other day, and he's like, well, you know, what about when I leave here? Like, you know, that's kind of scary, because and just being able to tell him about the services that we provide. And I always say, once a Wiseman Center client, always a client, really, even if they can't come back here now because we're full or when they're housed, you know, they can drop in and talk to us.
If you come back, they'll welcome you again.
Maybe at times they might see themselves as a failure because they have to come back. I have 4 girls, and I often say to my girls, you're not a failure until you give up. Keep trying, and we'll keep working with you. I think the most difficult for us is when we read the obituary and see that someone has passed away at a very young age, who spent time with us, and who had hopes and dreams, and we had hopes and dreams for them as well, and to find that life was cut short. We had a gentleman here some time ago, and he had no place to spend Christmas. He was in his own apartment, but he was lonely. We said, come spend it with us. And before Christmas, he passed away. And that was difficult. We look forward to having him with us and to spending time with us, but he passed away, and he had applied for a apartment on the 3rd floor. When it came available, he was no longer with us. That was difficult. That was difficult, yeah. They leave an impression with you. They leave a part of themselves with you, even when they leave. Because, you know, there's not all sad memories. There's good, happy memories here, yeah.
If situations impact people's lives, if relationships break down, if there's an issue that people can't pay the rent, and people need somewhere to stay. So there's no kind of, you know, a homeless person as one set kind of people. We come from all kinds of backgrounds, and it could be any of us experiencing that at any time.
For some, they move on and they do really well. For others, they don't do as well, and that's the difficult time. It's difficulty for us, but we keep on doing it, because if there's one we can make a difference in, it's worth it. It's worth it.
My life was a circus. I set it down. The system set it down for me, or I set it down, whatever. But the circus is down, and you know that's where I wanted to stay.
It feels real secure. I feel secure. I call it home. I call this home.